A search team walks along the riverbank in rural Nova Scotia. Dense forest surrounds them. The water moves slowly downstream. One searcher stops. Something catches their eye in the shallow water near the bank. They reach down and pull out a waterlogged box. Inside they find papers, names, written in ink. Some are faded from the water, but one name is clear: Daniel Martel, the stepfather of 2 missing children. The searcher immediately radios the team leader. Within hours, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrive to take possession of this mysterious box. The question investigators are now asking is this: how did a box containing the name of the children's stepfather end up in a river, downstream from where Lily and Jack Sullivan were last seen? Lily and Jack Sullivan, mysterious box with names found in river. RCMP takes evidence. On May 2, 2025, 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. According to their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, and stepfather, Daniel Martel, the children vanished while the adults napped with their 16-month-old baby. Despite one of the largest search operations in Nova Scotia history, involving over 160 trained volunteers, helicopters, drones, police dogs, and cadaver dogs searching nearly 40 kilometers of wilderness, no trace of the children has been found. 8 months later, the case remains unsolved. But a recent discovery during a community-organized search has raised new questions about what happened to Lily and Jack Sullivan. In the weeks following the children's disappearance, community members continued searching areas surrounding the family property. One of these searches, organized by a volunteer group called Please Bring Me Home, led to the discovery of several items of potential interest to investigators. Among them was a mysterious box found in the river, downstream from the search area. Inside that box were names. And according to the search organizer who spoke on camera, one of those names was particularly interesting to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. While the full contents of the box have not been publicly disclosed, what we know is that the RCMP took immediate possession of this evidence and expressed significant interest in what was found inside. This discovery has added another layer of complexity to an already puzzling case. Because when a box containing names, including allegedly the name of a missing child's stepfather, is found in a river in the area where those children vanished, it raises critical questions. Was this box deliberately placed there? Was it discarded? Is it connected to the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan? And why would such a box exist in the first place? These are the questions investigators are now working to answer. And it is these questions we will examine in this investigation. Before we dive deeper into what this box discovery means for the case and what investigators are doing with this evidence, if you're following the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, or if you're interested in cases where new evidence continues to emerge months after the initial investigation, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here at Unsolved Archive, we don't just report on cases. We investigate them. We analyze the evidence. We ask the difficult questions. Every detail matters when children are missing. Now, let's examine this mysterious box found in the river and what it could mean for the investigation into Lily and Jack Sullivan. To understand the significance of this box discovery, we need to understand how it was found. In the months following Lily and Jack's disappearance, the initial massive search effort conducted by the RCMP and professional search and rescue teams was scaled back. This is standard procedure in missing persons cases. The intensive phase of searching, which involves hundreds of people combing through terrain systematically, eventually gives way to a more targeted investigative approach. But that does not mean people stop looking. Family members, community volunteers, and concerned citizens often continue searching on their own, hoping to find something that might have been missed. In this case, it was the children's estranged grandmother, Belinda Gray, who reached out to Please Bring Me Home, a volunteer organization that assists families in searching for missing persons. According to the search organizer, who spoke in a video that has since received hundreds of thousands of views, Belinda was the family member who made contact, not the children's mother, not their stepfather, but their grandmother. This detail is significant for reasons we will discuss later. The organization agreed to help and organized a community search effort. Approximately 40 volunteers signed up to participate in the search. The organizer stated in an interview that the group consisted mostly of family and friends, though notably, when pressed on which family members were involved, the organizer clarified that it was the extended family and concerned community members, not the immediate household. The search was planned carefully. 6 teams were formed, Each team was given specific areas to cover. Safety was emphasized repeatedly. The terrain in rural Nova Scotia is challenging. Dense forest, steep banks, water hazards, and thick brush make searching difficult and potentially dangerous. On the day of the search, teams spread out across the designated area. They walked slowly, methodically, looking for anything that might be evidence. A piece of clothing, a shoe, a toy, anything that might indicate where the children had gone or what had happened to them. The search coordinator stayed in contact with each team, checking in every 30 minutes to ensure everyone was safe. Cell service was poor. Walkie-talkies were not working properly in some areas. It was, as the coordinator described it, one of the more difficult searches to manage from a safety perspective. As the teams moved through the area, they began finding items. A boy's t-shirt was located in one section. The team immediately reported this to the RCMP. Police contacted the family to determine if the shirt was familiar. According to the search coordinator, the family indicated the shirt did not appear to belong to Lily or Jack. This shirt was turned over to the RCMP for analysis. Then, another team made a different discovery. Near the river, in shallow water downstream from the main search area, searchers found a box. It was waterlogged. Papers inside were damp and some were deteriorating, but the box and its contents were intact enough to read, and what was inside immediately caught the attention of both the searchers and the RCMP. According to the search coordinator who spoke on camera, the box contained names, multiple names written on paper. The coordinator stated that they could not disclose all the names publicly, as this was now evidence in an active investigation, but the coordinator did indicate that the names were, quote, interesting, and that the RCMP expressed significant interest in this discovery. In a video analysis posted by a content creator who specializes in statement analysis and behavioral patterns in missing persons cases, it was alleged that one of the names found in the box was Daniel Martel, the stepfather of the missing children. While this has not been officially confirmed by the RCMP, the search coordinator's statement that the names were of interest to police, combined with the RCMP's immediate response to take possession of the box, suggests that what was inside is considered potentially significant evidence. The box was found in the river, downstream from the area where the children were last seen. This location matters. When something is placed in water, it moves with the current. If the box was upstream and entered the water, it would naturally flow downstream. This raises several possibilities. First, the box could have been discarded into the river at a location upstream, and it floated down to where it was found. Second, the box could have been deliberately placed in the specific location where it was discovered. Third, the box could be completely unrelated to the case, though the presence of names allegedly connected to the family would make this coincidence extraordinary. Investigators will be examining the condition of the box, the state of the papers inside, and any other physical evidence to determine how long the box has been in the water and whether it shows signs of having traveled a distance or having been placed in that specific location. The RCMP's response to the discovery of this box was immediate and significant. According to the search coordinator, RCMP officers were on duty that day specifically in case the search teams found anything of interest. When the box was reported, police responded quickly. They took possession of the box and indicated they would be conducting analysis on its contents. The search coordinator stated in the video interview that the RCMP was very interested in the box, particularly because of the names inside and the fact that it was found in the water downstream from the search area. This level of interest from investigators suggests that the box is being treated as potentially important evidence. What exactly the RCMP is doing with this box now is not publicly known. In active investigations, police do not typically disclose the specifics of evidence analysis, but based on standard investigative procedures, we can make some educated assessments about what investigators are likely examining. First, they will be analyzing the physical condition of the box itself. What material is it made of? How long has it been exposed to water? Are there any fingerprints, DNA, or other biological evidence on the box or the papers inside? Second, they will be examining the papers and the handwriting. Handwriting analysis can sometimes identify who wrote something, or at minimum, can rule out certain individuals. If the names were written by someone connected to the case, that handwriting could be compared to known samples. Third, investigators will be looking at the content of what was written. Were these just names? Were there addresses, dates, other information? The context of these names matters significantly. Fourth, Police will be investigating the origin of the box. Can the box be traced to a specific location or purchase? Are there any markings, labels, or other identifiers that might indicate where it came from? Fifth, investigators will be determining whether the box was placed in the river intentionally or whether it ended up there accidentally. The location where it was found, the condition it was in, and the surrounding circumstances will all factor into this determination. And finally, the RCMP will be attempting to establish whether this box is connected to the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, or whether it is unrelated evidence that happened to be in the search area. The discovery of this box has been discussed extensively online, with the original video documenting the search receiving over 300,000 views. True crime analysts and content creators have examined the significance of this find. One behavioral analyst who specializes in detecting deception in missing persons cases focused not on the box itself, but on the reaction to its discovery. Specifically, the analyst noted that the parents of the missing children, Daniel Martell and Malahia Brooks Murray, have not publicly commented on or reacted to the discovery of this box. This lack of response, according to behavioral experts, is unusual. When evidence is found in a case involving missing children, parents who genuinely do not know what happened typically express curiosity, ask questions, and seek information about whether the discovery might lead to answers. In this case, despite the video about the box being viewed hundreds of thousands of times and being widely discussed in communities following the case, there has been no public statement from Daniel or Malahia about the box. They have not asked publicly what was inside. They have not commented on whether they recognize the handwriting. They have not shared the information, asking if anyone knows anything about it. This silence has been interpreted by some behavioral analysts as significant. The absence of curiosity, according to experts who study deception, can sometimes indicate that an individual already knows the answers to the questions being asked. If someone is not curious about a potential clue, it may be because they do not need information that clue might provide. It is important to state clearly that behavioral analysis is not evidence of guilt. It is one tool among many that investigators and analysts use to understand the dynamics of a case. Daniel Martell and Malahia Brooks Murray have not been charged with any crime. They are presumed innocent. The RCMP has stated publicly that as of July 16, 2025, they did not consider the case to be criminal in nature, though they explicitly noted they had not ruled out that the disappearance could be suspicious. The investigation is ongoing, but the behavioral patterns observed by experts, including the lack of public curiosity about significant discoveries like this box, contribute to the overall picture of this case. The absence of Lily and Jack's parents from the community search effort itself is another detail that behavioral analysts have noted. When the Please Bring Me Home organization coordinated the search, approximately 40 volunteers showed up to help look for the missing children. According to the search coordinator, the only family member from the children's immediate or extended family who was present was their grandmother, Belinda Gray. Daniel Martell was not there. Malahia Brooks Murray was not there. Other relatives connected to Daniel or Malahia were reportedly not there. This is unusual. In most missing persons cases involving children, parents are at the forefront of search efforts. They organize searches. They participate in searches. They thank volunteers. They provide updates. They remain visibly engaged in the effort to find their children. The search coordinator noted in the video that Belinda, the grandmother, was the one who reached out to the organization asking for help. She filled out the intake form. She requested the search. This suggests that the drive to continue looking for Lily and Jack was coming from Belinda, not from the children's parents. Behavioral experts who have analyzed cases like this note that when parents are genuinely searching for missing children, they typically exhaust every possible avenue. They contact every organization. They organize every search. They follow up on every lead. The fact that it was the grandmother, not the parents, who initiated this community search is seen by some analysts as inconsistent with typical parental behavior in cases where parents do not know what happened to their children. Again, this does not prove anything, but it adds to the behavioral profile of this case. Combined with the lack of reaction to the box discovery, the absence from the search itself, and other behavioral patterns that have been noted throughout the investigation, analysts who specialize in detecting deception in missing persons cases have raised questions about whether the parents' behavior is consistent with individuals who genuinely do not know what happened to their children. These are questions, not accusations. They are observations, not conclusions. But they are observations that matter when trying to understand what happened to Lily and Jack Sullivan. The box found in the river is not the only item discovered during the community search. As mentioned earlier, a boy's t-shirt was also located. While the family indicated the shirt did not appear familiar, the RCMP took possession of it for analysis. Even if the shirt does not belong to Lily or Jack, it is possible that forensic testing could reveal information about who it does belong to, or whether it has any connection to the case. In cases like this, every piece of physical evidence is analyzed thoroughly. DNA testing, fiber analysis, and other forensic techniques can sometimes reveal connections that are not immediately obvious. The search coordinator also noted that managing the search was particularly difficult because of how thoroughly the area had already been searched by professional teams. The coordinator stated in the video that after seeing the extent of the initial search efforts, flagging tape marking areas that had been covered, and hearing from property owners about the intensity of the professional search, the coordinator found it increasingly hard to believe that the children had simply wandered off and had not been found. This observation from an experienced search organizer is significant. Professional search and rescue teams are highly trained. They use systematic methods to cover terrain. They use dogs trained to detect scent. They use technology like drones and helicopters. When a professional search of this scale finds no trace of missing children, it raises questions about whether those children were ever in the area being searched. This is one of the points that has led investigators and analysts to consider alternative theories about what happened to Lily and Jack. If the children had wandered into the woods on the morning of May 2nd, as their parents reported, professional searchers with trained dogs should have been able to track their scent. Even if the children had traveled a significant distance, even if they had encountered an accident or been taken by an animal, there should have been some evidence. A piece of clothing, a footprint, a scent trail, something. The complete absence of any trace, despite an intensive and immediate search effort, is highly unusual. It is this absence of evidence that has caused some investigators and experts to question whether the children were ever in the woods at all. The location where the box was found adds another dimension to this question. If the box contains names connected to the family and was found in the river downstream from the search area, it suggests that something was placed in or near that river. Whether that something was just the box, or whether the box is connected to other actions taken in that area, is something investigators will be working to determine. Rivers are often used to transport or conceal evidence because water can destroy DNA, wash away fingerprints, and carry objects away from their original location. If someone wanted to dispose of something and have it moved away from a specific site, placing it in a river would be one method to accomplish that. Investigators will be examining the riverbank and the areas upstream from where the box was found. They will be looking for any signs of disturbance, any indication that something else might have been placed in or near the water. They will be checking for tire tracks, footprints, or other evidence that someone accessed that area. They will be reviewing whether there are any roads or paths that would allow vehicle access to the river at points upstream. All of this will help investigators understand whether the box ended up in the river accidentally, or whether it was placed there deliberately, and if deliberately, by whom. The presence of names inside the box is particularly puzzling. Why would someone write names on paper and place them in a box? What was the purpose of this? Was it a list? A note? Something else entirely? Without seeing the actual contents, it is difficult to know. But the fact that the names were allegedly of interest to the RCMP, and that at least one name was reportedly that of Daniel Martel, suggests that the contents are not random. If the names are connected to individuals involved in or aware of this case, then the box becomes potential evidence of planning, communication, or record-keeping related to the events surrounding the children's disappearance. One possibility that has been discussed by analysts is that the box could represent some form of record or list that was created before or after the children disappeared, and was later discarded when it became a liability. If someone involved in the case created a document that could be incriminating, they might attempt to destroy or dispose of that document. Throwing it in a river would be one method of disposal. However, as this case demonstrates, items thrown in water can sometimes be found. The box, though waterlogged, was still intact enough that the names inside could be read. This means that if the box was intended to destroy evidence, that attempt was unsuccessful. Another possibility is that the box is unrelated to the disappearance, but happens to contain names that coincidentally connect to the case. This seems less likely given the specific location where it was found and the timing of its discovery, but it cannot be ruled out without further investigation. The RCMP will be working to determine whether the box predates the disappearance, was created around the time of the disappearance, or was placed in the river after the disappearance. The condition of the paper, the ink, and the box itself will provide clues about how long it has been in the water. It is also worth noting that this discovery was made by volunteer searchers, not by the initial professional search teams. This raises the question of whether the box was already in the river at the time of the initial searches, or whether it was placed there later. If the box was already there during the initial search, it is possible that professional teams simply did not see it. Rivers are difficult to search. Items can be hidden beneath the surface, caught in vegetation, or obscured by debris. It is possible that the box was there all along, but was only discovered when volunteers happened to look in the right place at the right time. Alternatively, if the box was placed in the river after the initial searches concluded, that would suggest that someone returned to the area at a later time to dispose of evidence. This would be significant because it would indicate planning and consciousness of guilt. The RCMP has not publicly commented on whether they believe the box is connected to the case or whether it is being treated as unrelated evidence. This is standard procedure. Investigators do not typically discuss active evidence analysis publicly, because doing so could compromise the investigation. But the fact that police responded immediately, took possession of the box, and expressed interest in its contents suggests that they are treating it seriously. Whether that seriousness stems from a belief that the box is directly connected to the disappearance or simply from a need to rule it out as a potential lead is not yet clear. What is clear is that the discovery of this box has reignited discussion about the case and has provided investigators with a new piece of physical evidence to analyze. In a case where physical evidence has been frustratingly absent, any new discovery is significant. Even if the box ultimately turns out to be unrelated to the disappearance, the process of analyzing it, ruling it out, and understanding how it ended up where it was found is valuable investigative work. And if the box does turn out to be connected to what happened to Lily and Jack Sullivan, it could be the breakthrough that investigators have been searching for. As of now, 8 months after Lily and Jack Sullivan were reported missing, the case remains unsolved. The children have not been found. No arrests have been made. No charges have been filed. The RCMP continues to investigate, following up on tips, analyzing evidence, and working to piece together what happened on May 2, 2025. The discovery of the mysterious box in the river is the latest development in a case that has captivated and troubled people across Canada and around the world. The questions surrounding this box, who placed it there, why it contains names allegedly connected to the case, and what it means for the investigation are questions that may take weeks or months to answer. For now, the box is in the hands of the RCMP. Forensic analysts are examining it. Investigators are following up on leads generated by its discovery, and the community continues to hope that somewhere, somehow, Lily and Jack Sullivan will be found. The box in the river is one more piece of a puzzle that has so far refused to come together. Whether it is a piece that leads to answers, or simply another mystery in a case filled with them, only time and continued investigation will tell. If you have information about the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, or if you know anything about the box found in the river, the RCMP asks that you contact the Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333. You can also submit tips anonymously through Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers. Every piece of information, no matter how small it may seem, could be the key to solving this case and bringing Lily and Jack home. Subscribe to Unsolved Archive for continued coverage of the Lily and Jack Sullivan case and other cases where the search for truth continues. Hit that like button if you believe this case deserves answers, and leave a comment below with your thoughts on what this box discovery might mean. Because here at Unsolved Archive, we don't just tell stories, we investigate, we analyze, we search for truth, and some cases are too important to let fade into silence.